Well, good morning from Callender on this historic day for us, bringing breakfast television to Britain. It's a pleasure to be with you, but no pleasure, I'm afraid, to have to bring you these news headlines. With the death toll at 553 in Tenerife today, clearance teams are searching the wreckage of the two jumbo jets. All of the 249 passengers on the Dutch aircraft were killed in what has become, tragically, the world's worst air disaster. The crash happened when the two holiday charter planes collided whilst preparing to take off. Meanwhile, the London insurance market could be faced with a bill of £30 million. Experts now predict higher insurance rates for passenger aircraft. The rest of the news, Liberal leader David Steele is to make name his new shadow administration of 13 MPs and 5 peers tonight. After the massive police drug swoop over the weekend, a special court may sit at Swindon this afternoon. 90 people have been arrested so far. And a big vaccination programme starts today among old people in the North Tyneside homes following the death of 16 elderly residents. Well, the regional headlines, one man is missing after a fishing vessel sank off the Humber early today. A helicopter from RAF Leconfield is assisting ships in their search in blizzard conditions for survivors from the Sioux from Grimsby. 5 survivors were taken from a life raft aboard an oil rig support ship, and 5 more are aboard the coaster Angela Christina. The new Humber lifeboat, City of Bradford, was launched at 5 o'clock this morning as part of a massive sea and air search. And 4 lifeboats were launched yesterday to go to the aid of fishing boats in heavy seas. They were at Whitby, Scarborough, Filey and Flamborough. And at Cleethorpes on Humberside, 15 small boats were escorted into harbour during a gale. More problems today for the contractors working on the Humber Bridge. The latest in the long series of delays which has plagued the bridge has come with a dispute over ship systems by men assembling the bridge box units. When they didn't turn up on Friday afternoon, they're told not to report for work today, so the contractors will have to find 160 more men. Finally, the RAF are saying goodbye this week to their base at Leconfield near Beverley on North Humberside. The only services to remain there will be the helicopter search and rescue squadron. That's the one involved in this morning's rescue. But local residents won't have seen the last of the services. The Army are taking it over as a driving school. And more on that air disaster. The hospital sources say there are about 90 survivors, all from the American jumbo. Well, now, today's weather. And today's weatherman is John Hunter. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Bob.
Well, it looks like winter's back all over again, doesn't it, this morning?
Yes, I think spring has been cancelled for a day or two. We've got really bitterly cold, fresh to strong northerly winds across the whole of our region this morning, and there has been a widespread frost overnight, except on the coast, of course.
Well, of course, it's usually a time for planting out in the garden now. That's all gone wrong, hasn't it?
Well, it's not unusual to get a cold spell like this in some marches. In fact, there has been notable snowfalls at this end of March in previous years, back in the past. And we've got some snow about today, of course, but I don't think we'll have any large quantities, although there will be a bit of drifting on the North Yorkshire moors, for instance, where showers along the coast are going to be rather more frequent and heavy than they will be further inland, particularly across the Pennines.
How long is this frost likely to last?
Well, temperatures will rise above freezing mid-morning in most places. Of course, as I said earlier, on the coast they are about +2 at the moment, but most people have got a temperature around -1 at the moment.
Well, as you said earlier, John, spring has been cancelled for the time being, but is this sort of snow seasonal? Is it the right time of the year for it?
I say it's not unusual, Bob. In fact, there are 1 or 2 quite notable cases back 50 or 60 years ago where quite heavy snowfall occurred about this time of year. So we can expect, on average, 4 days of snow in every March.
Oh, well, let's hope it doesn't last too long. OK, John, thanks very much.
Goodbye, Bob.
Bye-bye. Well, with all this snow, ice and these freezing temperatures around, there could be a few traffic problems, so let's go over and talk to Inspector Peter Brafton at Wakefield. Good morning. Well, this morning really is a surprise for motorists, isn't it?
It is indeed, yes.
We've got snow, black ice and all the rest of it. What's the situation like at the moment?
At the moment, things are very, very good. There has been some snow showers during the night, but this hasn't generally been allowed to settle on, especially on the major roads.
Presumably, there could be some black ice on the roads at the moment.
You probably find some on the minor roads and possibly on bends on the major roads, but By and large, the motorways and trunk roads have been well gritted by the highway authorities, and road reports from the motor patrol seem to show that the roads are clear of snow and ice, although the road surface is still wet. Possibly you might find some black ice on the bends or towards the edges of the roadways where the grit hasn't reached.
Oh, well, the message for motorists is watch out still. Many thanks indeed, Inspector.
Yes?
Thank you. Well, I wonder how Harold got into the picture there. Never mind. Well, now let's have a look at the day's papers. And, of course, it's the jumbo collision that makes the big headlines this morning, with many of the papers following the story up on the inside pages. The Express calls it the horror the world has always feared. But, well, it's not all death and disaster, and there's a good smattering of exclusive stories, too. In the Mail, for instance, how you can buy your way out of trouble, provided you've got £500,000. And according to the story here, that's the price a big diamond dealer had to pay as an alternative to criminal prosecution for being involved in a smuggling racket. And talking about money, there's apparently £1 million missing from the accounts of the Bay City Rollers pop group. Well, the manager says it's only a drop in the ocean, but he wants every penny of it back, all 100 million pennies to be precise. Well, actually, I can see why if we turn to page 10 in the Mail, where the headline states that poverty is bad for your health. Get away. Closer to home, the Yorkshire Post takes a look at the problems facing people in all-electric flats, where families have to put aside anything up to £10 a week for the bill, and the headline says it all. It's a poor life in the all-electric Alcatraz. In the Sheffield Morning Telegraph, two photographs that highlight the perils of motoring, one of a car all but disappearing down a workman's hole, and the other showing a huge trail of fish which literally fell off the back of a lorry in the village of Swanwick. And I understand that mackerel fish cakes is the dish of the week in Swanwick. On the sports pages, plenty of news of Reva's lineup for Luxembourg on Wednesday. Captain Kevin Keegan is making the news elsewhere, though. He's all upset, the miners in his home village of Armthorpe, by referring to it as a slump. Some good friendly advice from the miners, which I won't go into now. So, that's where we go now from... oh, yes, talking about spring. Well, it may be a week old, and I had a quick look around the garden as I came out to work, and all the signs were there, a carpet of snowdrops, a few crocuses, even some daffodils, and a good inch of snow. And I always thought spring was all about something else.